Hello everyone, Sakey here, Wake Up New Zealand. Today I'm going to talk about race, gender, identity and our democratic rights. New Zealand has no true sovereignty and we aim to get our sovereignty back. And the only way we're going to do that is for the people to have their democratic rights to be able to speak up and demand of the government change. We are a sovereignty of the United Nations. Our country is in trouble because of our UN puppet politicians. They do not serve the people of New Zealand. They serve the United Nations. If they're in trouble, they contact the United Nations. Our laws are interrupted by the United Nations. So let's talk about this problem we've had for decades now, about Maori and non-Maori. It's not those of the colonies that have actually destroyed or are destroying New Zealand. Those people from the colonies brought with them laws to stop people from killing each other, to stop assaults, to stop theft. That is all good stuff to protect us all. They fought in wars alongside Maori people to save New Zealand, to protect New Zealand. They stood up for New Zealand. The New Zealand government is guilty of mental abuse of Maori. I say that because over decades they have given Maori the message they're not good enough, they're not intelligent enough. And you tell anybody this, any group, any individual, no matter what culture they are, they're not good enough. You mental abuse them in that way, they will end up believing it and have a mental abuse mentality, a mental problem. And with mental problems come physical and medical problems. So this government and previous New Zealand governments have much to answer for. They are guilty. That's why you have so much victim mentality in the lives of Maori. So the government have done them no good service. They have been abusing them. If they told me I was not intelligent enough, not worthy enough, I would call that abuse. So, the UN Global Compact of Migration, and just add to that mental abuse some non-westernised Islamic nation to the pot. It will boil, it will bubble, and there will be lots of trouble. In New Zealand, we've got a public waiting list for housing of 12,000, over 12,000 families now. A few months back it was 10,000. These people coming into New Zealand who are migrating here now are being told they have the right to have a home. New Zealanders, you do not have that right. You do not have that privilege. So as one more migrant, 10 more migrants, 100 more migrants, however many, get a home, if you're on that public housing list and you're waiting, you will drop and keep on dropping. You will come somewhere, nowhere to last. How fair is that for New Zealanders? We are living in a country where you cannot be patriotic for fear of being labelled racist, white supremacist, or many other labels. These people who are labelling us are doing this because of the power-hungry, greedy politicians at the top, those seeking power, those who are on the ladder to the UN, like Jacinta Ardern. So, trying to be patriotic New Zealanders, we're being persecuted for that. We're not allowed our democratic rights to speak up. So, we want our sovereignty back, and we want it back now. We don't want to be a sovereign state of the UN. We want to be part, New Zealanders want to be part of making our own laws and to say who enters our country and who doesn't. New Zealand is very fast becoming a police state, a communist nation, a communist government who are determining what the people say, what the people do, and what they hear. Across the world, at the moment we've got Russia, things are really bad in Hong Kong, and it's all about people losing their democratic rights of freedom of expression. It's called dictatorship. Socialism, Marxism, communism, they get rewarded by populations becoming poor. Those people who worked hard in New Zealand, those with small businesses, those who bought a property, have paid their taxes, have given people jobs, they are now being called rich, and they're supposed to share what they've earned all their life with everybody else. They're not supposed to have it for themselves because they've been labelled now as rich white supremacists, racists, all sorts of names, anything you can think of. So, the UN and men are being deemed worthless. The UN are promoting that women become the leaders of all nations globally. Men should never be traitors to their own gender. Women are embracing their gender, and that's okay. But not to eliminate men, to put men down, to make them deemed worthless. There is lack of support agencies, help for men in New Zealand. It's great Women's Refuge, can provide legal advice, roof over women's heads and children's heads, clothing, etc. What do men get? Zilch. Many years ago, I had a middle-aged man, come into my office late in the evening, 3 children in tow. His wife had beaten him up, and he felt shameful about that. He wouldn't tell his mates, he wouldn't tell his family, he wouldn't reach out to them. He reached out to a person who was unknown to him. I gave him money, put him in a motel. But that didn't solve it, because he had to go back to where he came from the night before, back into that abusive relationship. And that's how men are being treated in this country. So they have no legal advice, no shelter. A man said to me, I didn't choose to be straight, white, a male. Why are these double standards going on? Men are feeling wronged. They're being silenced. They think and believe by what's going on that women are having their cake and eating it too. Feminist advancements are leading to double standards. What do you think about that? Are women getting away with what men never could? What's going on? Are women getting jobs because they're more experienced, got more knowledge, more expertise than men? Or are they getting jobs because of their gender? Need to think about that one. I myself feel a sentiment. I feel that men are being silenced and they are being treated unfairly. Legitimately so, deliberately, and it is happening. Men are clearly being judged. How often do you hear women shout out that men are all abusers, putting them all in the same category as abusers? When do you hear them praising what men have done? All you hear is women's rights. We all have rights in this world. Unfortunately, a lot of us are not privileged to have some rights. So men are being wronged and they are being silenced. And the UN clearly states that women must be global leaders. And that's what they're telling our government, our politicians, and Ardern will jump, and she jumps for the UN, and she says, how high do you want me to jump? And she jumps as high as she is told. After all, she's got to be the highest jumper. She's the best in the world. The first ever. Isn't that what she says? The first ever. But she does put the UN before New Zealand people's well-being. I myself personally feel very blessed to have been a mother at home, a grandmother. I feel I've been privileged, and I am sure many women would love to have that privilege to be at home, to be with their kids, to watch their kids grow up. Many women, most women, will not have that privilege because economically they cannot afford it. As far as abuses are concerned, whether you're a man or woman, then you take responsibility and you're accountable for your action. Men are confused. There is role confusion going on here. What does a man do? If there's a woman standing up on a bus, does he go and offer her a seat, no matter how young or old? They don't know what to do. But many men still feel that it's courteous and respectful to give up a seat for a woman. Some women don't think that should happen because, equality. Some men are mindful as to what they say to women. Instead of saying, let me help, are you okay? They compliment a woman. It seems to be the wrong thing to do. They're not allowed to be the Prince Charming who spoil women. A lot of women are calling that a bad thing because of this equality. Men try to create a bonding with women and they're being verbally attacked. Their efforts are being ignored. And that really bloody sucks, women. Let's not bring shame on all women, because some of us women think that what some of these women are doing to men really sucks. Screaming woman power at almost everything lets us down as women. Shame on these women who do this. Men are receiving mixed messages. They're being portrayed wrongly, and that's not fair. I believe in self-empowerment, knowledge, supporting each other. Males, females, support each other. That doesn't mean eliminate men from the equation. That's not supporting. That's not equality. The UN are marching towards a new world order of matriarchs. And that really is a worry. The UN have played a huge part in destroying our democratic rights. They've promoted snuff out a life on request, and our government is living up to their requests. They promote transgender teaching in school, promoting mental health abuses by building up frustration, fear, confusion into the minds of the most vulnerable. Jacinda Ardern promotes transgender teaching in schools, yet she also promotes that we have Islamic nations reside in New Zealand that hate gays. She promotes that. Governments, councils, politicians, they're all a huge problem. They all want to divide and conquer. And they use race, they use religion, they use ethnic groups and gender to confuse and frustrate a nation. The great divide and conquer. All about defeatism, to bring about a sense of defeatism, to reward our government, our politicians, deliberately and purposely so. Defeatism destroys solidarity of a nation's ability to stand together, to take away people's democratic rights, to take away the people's power. Time for the government to sit and the people to stand, because enough is enough. So please, New Zealand, wake up now, because many of us have had enough. Thank you.